You're now tuning into the Who and How Club with your host, Arys Dejan.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's your boy, Arys Dejan, checking in on a special Friday edition of the show. And that show's name is the Who and How Club, as you must know already, since you're tuning in and listening in. How's everybody doing? I'm doing this on a Friday morning. I mean, I almost went a week without doing the episode. I don't know, I just got crazy busy, but I realized, this is therapy for me. I'm starting to realize that. And obviously a main goal of mine is to get better at talking to myself. I know you guys will listen to this after the fact, but just sitting here talking to myself out loud, I think there's a certain skill and practice you gotta have in order to really get good at something like this. Guys like Bill Burr are masters at this, and those are he's one of my idols, my podcast idols. So I feel like if I didn't do it this week, number one, I wouldn't be able to just sort of release and let go kind of thing to the airwaves, because this is therapy for me. I get to decompress and get rid of some inner thoughts and feelings and stuff on the air. So that's one fold, but also maybe I'd miss a beat next week, you know what I mean? Obviously consistency is key. But as we know, sometimes life stuff gets in the way and you don't get a chance to do what you love the most, or maybe what you need the most. I'm starting to realize that I need this. This isn't just for the people that I invite on the show or for people listening in. It's for me as well. I need this. I need the opportunity to just speak, to release, to let go, and to share my thoughts and feelings from the week. You know what I mean? So anyway, we're doing this on a Friday. And yeah, I'm actually using my voice memo app on my phone. I don't have everything set up today. Today's more like a chill day. I'm happy that it's Friday. TGIF. Happy TGIF to everybody out there. If you have that regular 9 to 5 Monday to Friday gig, then, I'm sure tonight you'll be celebrating as you usually do every weekend, and then, start back up again on Monday. Yeah. Where should we begin? Did I mention you're listening to the Who and How Club? Someone gave me some feedback recently about the show. Where do I go with this? I mean, they gave some constructive feedback, I guess, I don't know how well I do with constructive feedback. I think in the moment when I hear someone giving me some sort of feedback, I'm like a bull, my horns come out. I try to, push whatever they're saying to the side and be like, nah, who are you to tell me anything? You know what I mean? But then maybe after a day or two or a couple hours, I'll think about it. I'll reflect and take what I can from that sort of feedback. I don't really listen to everybody or 100% to what everyone says. But I know that I think there's a reason why people are saying the things that they're saying to me. I look at it on a deeper level. Maybe the universe is trying to show me something. Maybe God is sending some people to actually talk to me, or God's trying to talk to me through actual, human beings, and to remind me of some certain things. You know what I mean? So I'll reflect after a little while and take what I feel I'm supposed to take away from that feedback, or that, whatever that person's sharing with me, and I'll use it and I'll adapt maybe, and I'll say, okay, yeah, maybe I should do this, or I shouldn't do this anymore, or let me try this out and see if this works. And then if it doesn't, then I could go back to, it's not really a right or wrong thing, but I just don't like to be told what to do. That's just like something I got to work on. But anyway, I got some feedback, and I guess it was from a listener, and they had mentioned that, I need to focus more on, especially when I have a guest on the show, to focus more on the guest and less promo. But I mean, I'm just starting. I got a promo. I got to remind the listeners, especially the new listeners, on a weekly basis, how to find me, how to find the show, how to find, how to touch base with me. I want to reach out to the people. But maybe I promo too much throughout the episode. Who knows? But with that said, welcome to the Who and How Club. The website is whohowclub.com. You can follow us at Who How Club on all social media platforms. On any podcast app, you could find the show. You want to touch base with me, you want to ask me a question, you want to be on the show, touch base with me on my social media at only1Arys, and that's with the number 1, not spelled out, not ONE. ONLY, the number 1, ARYS is how you could find me. And yeah, I'm going to keep promoting the show on the show, whether there's a guest or not, until we make it big. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't care about like my 4.7 rating on Apple Podcasts or on iTunes, you know what I mean? And I got some comments, I got a lot of ratings. Like, we're building this, you know what I mean? I'm in the beginning stages, and I accept that. At some point, I won't need to promote anything. At some point, I'm going to have some sponsors and some ads that I'm going to have to do some ad recordings and fit them into the episodes and stuff like that. Like, I know this is going to grow, and I'm optimistic about that. But I'm not just doing this for fame. I'm not just doing this for it to grow. There's a deeper meaning behind the show, and I've explained that on previous episodes, But I want to have fun with this too, and I want to just remind people where to find me, where to find us. So yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the club if you're a first-time listener. Speaking of just starting out and like maybe the opposite of that, like this week there's in the podcast world, there was a story that Variety put out on Conan O'Brien, who's another one of my idols. Not necessarily a podcast idol, but just an idol in general when it comes to comedy and late night, talk shows. Like, I've been watching Conan since I was a child. And I admired like his just his sense of humor and the way he interviewed people. And obviously recently, like, it hasn't even been a year yet, he's moved into the podcasting world. And I listen to his show every week. For me, I was really happy that he got into this sort of medium, because I get to see one of my idols in a different light, especially with him in front of other people. People that he's already interviewed on his show, but he gets a chance to interview them. It's not even an interview, really. It's more like a conversation with people that he has already had on the show, but he could talk with them and speak with them and ask questions that he might not get to do on the actual, on his TV show. There are time constraints. There are commercials on television. So to see Conan like sit across people that he's interviewed before on TV, but like in a more in-depth manner, I was really happy about it. I got to see him and the guests that he's been having on the show in a different light. But it seems like this Variety article has sort of like ruffled a few feathers, especially for those who have been doing podcasting for like ever. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I read the article. I read majority of it, like 80 to 90% of it. And what I really wanted to do is scroll down and read the comments of all the haters. I knew there would be a lot of haters towards the article. And the article's not just focused on Conan. I mean, The article mentions, other big players in the podcast world and other companies and other upcoming shows, etc. They call Conan he's I guess the revolutionary. He's involved in the whole revolution of podcasting at this moment. And to be honest, I think it's true. I'm going to agree. I guess I'm going to go against the grain. I mean, I read all the comments below. I've been listening to a few other podcasts this week with people who have opinions on this article and Conan himself. And it just sounds like a bunch of hate. Like they feel like Conan doesn't deserve this sort of recognition because what? Because he's brand new in the podcasting world, but he's not brand new overall. Times have changed. People who have had podcasts have moved into television and movies, right? So why can't a guy who has spent majority of his career on television move into the podcast world and, I guess, create some cracks in the cement? I think he is revolutionary. I mean, I read the article and it turns out like this guy gets about 1 million downloads an episode. That's pretty amazing. It's not like he's not begging for listeners. He creates his art. This is all art. And I think we forget about that. And, people have gravitated towards him. And I think like people who don't watch TV anymore, who don't have cable anymore, who can't experience Conan on television, they're able to experience him in a different way. And he has a true fan base, a loyal fan base. 1 million downloads an episode, that's ridiculous. That's insane. That's pretty revolutionary. So it's not his fault that he can come into this medium in such a short period of time and make such an impact. That's to show you what the star power or the star quality of Conan and the loyal fan base and people who want more of Conan, who want to listen to Conan in this type of format. He must be doing something right. And not to say people who have been doing it for X amount of years have been doing something wrong, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And I feel like we shouldn't be hating. It just seems like a bunch of haterade. People are drinking haterade. But I can also, not relate, but I can put myself in someone's shoes who's been doing this for X amount of years, and they feel like they haven't gotten the recognition. I get that part, but in connection to that, you don't hate on someone who is getting the recognition or getting their flowers. Conan's been doing this since like early 90s on television, and he's worked his way up from the war between him and Jay. You know what I mean? Like he deserves this. I think it's just recognition overall. I feel like he hasn't gotten this sort of recognition when it came to television. So let him get his flowers, leave Conan alone. I think with this recognition, he's actually going to open doors to other folks. People are going to start looking for podcasts even more now and seeing, I think everything's going to spike. When things like this happen, it's good. It paves the way for new guys like me, new guys like the Who and How Club. There are a lot of new podcasts out there. And I don't look at this as a bad thing, is what I'm trying to say. The funny thing is Mark Maron went on his show this week as well and sort of addressed it. And they had a little back and forth on it. And if you guys know Mark, you know Mark. And he'll come on a show with his sort of like, I guess his, he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's so angry. But I think that's just what that's like that's his persona, he's like he's a grumpy old young man kind of thing, grumpy old podcaster. And they had a little back and forth. He brought the magazine on the show and they had a little back and forth, but I don't know if there's real animosity there. I think they just did that for the episode, but I think Conan is going to hold it down, and he's going to open it up, especially for comedians, for comedy podcasts. Go listen if you want to start on the Conan. Like, I don't want to turn this into a Conan promo or anything like that, but he is one of my idols. I listen to the show every week. I think it's a great show. There is an episode I would want you to start off with, and I would say start off with the Howard Stern episode. You know, another legend, two legends interviewing each other or having a conversation. But obviously they're legends in their own right and from different walks of life. But I think starting with that episode, there's also a Mila Kunis episode, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So yeah, I think being able to just have a conversation with somebody, regardless of their fame, regardless of what they're doing now, what they've done in the past, like just touching base with people. Being able to do that in a different format for him, I think it's a good thing. And hopefully I get to that level as well. That's my goal. I don't want to just have people who are famous on the show. I want to talk to everyday people, and just find out how they answer, the questions, like the who are you questions, the how did you become you questions, the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows of people. Not just famous people, not just not so famous people. Everybody, everyone. We're all people. We all have a perspective. We all have, a life that we live. And we're all experiencing this thing we call life in different ways. And life is shaping us to become who we are, or there are other things around that within our lives that are shaping us or have shaped us. And I want to have those conversations. I want to find out what those things are. And I want to learn about myself when talking to other people, through other people. And hopefully people listening in onto the show, they'll learn about themselves as well. So shout out to Conan. I'm not a comedian. Obviously he's in the comedian pocket, but I think the podcast itself is not just about comedy. It's very funny, yes, but he doesn't just have comedians on there. He has everybody on there and just having conversations with them. The focus isn't to be funny. The focus is just to get to know people on a more in-depth level. So the show is Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Look it up. Tell me what you guys think of the show. Send me an email, whowhowclub@gmail.com. Go to the website. You can contact me in any shape or form. And let me know what you think about the show. Listen to an episode of the show. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you think that Conan should get the recognition that he's getting at the moment for podcasting in such a short period of time. Just look up the article. It's a Variety article. So yeah, you guys could find it. I hope I'm doing this right. I hope I'm speaking about these things right. I'm literally just going off on a tangent, just sharing my feelings about somebody that I admire. I'd rather spend the time giving someone their flowers than hating, man. What's the point of hating on somebody's success? Like, it doesn't do anything for me. I think seeing someone be successful in their own, in their own pocket, it's actually inspiration for me. And it's motivation to keep going. If he could do it, if she could do it, then I could do it too. You know what I mean? In other Conan O'Brien news, actually, another story came out. It's just weird that all of these stories came out within such a close time frame to each other. If you guys know Conan and the show, like, his, and I don't want to reduce Andy to like his quote unquote, sidekick, but Andy Richter, if you guys don't know him, look him up. Andy Richter had a story out when he was on a plane recently, and he had to shut a passenger down who had their bare feet on one of the seat back, on like a seat back TV on a plane. And the person had dirty ass toes. So like Andy kind of shut it down and asked the person to take their feet down and like, He took a photo, he tweeted it. There's been some memes about it. I just found it hilarious and ironic that that story came out literally just like, I think it was like 2 days, a day or two before the Conan story got put out. So I don't know. These two guys belong to each other, and I think Conan has done a solid by, like, you know, Andy Richter now has a podcast underneath, you know, the Conan Needs a Friend podcast. Like, that's what you do. You help your friends. You pass the baton, I guess. You know what I mean? And I think Conan is doing that in such a short period of time with no hesitation, helping his peers, his sidekicks out. A lot of the podcasts that have been out for 10 years and more, they haven't passed the baton to anybody. They've just been working for self. And it's more like a business to them. But this is art. You know what I mean? And I want to remind people of that. When you want to talk to the people, when you want to put your mind and your heart and soul into something, and you want to put it on the table and on the airwaves so that people could listen to you, get creative. Remember that you're sharing pieces of yourself, and your goal should be to inspire others. To show that, yo, if you could do this, or if I can do this, you could do this too. And don't hate. Find inspiration. Clearly that person is doing something right. So maybe take notes. And don't spend time hating or being disgruntled or comparing yourself. Find inspiration and, you know, take notes. Find another way, a unique way, your own way in when it comes to, like, trying to get to that level or maybe surpassing it. The level that maybe a Conan's at or a Joe Rogan or whoever. Stop hating. But yeah, check out that Andy Richter story. Check out the memes that have come with it because it's hilarious. There's a dog in the photo. I don't even want to tell you everything. Just look up the Andy Richter airplane story. Those toes are horrible. Those feet are horrible. I might sound like a hater now, but I don't know about that. I don't know who raised this person to put their feet up like that. It's crazy. It's a crazy sight. And I'm not going to spend time going into a minor foot fetish that I might have. Not for men's feet, obviously, for women's feet, but that's another story for another episode. But hey, no one likes dirty feet, dirty toes, placed on the seat back TV on an airplane. That's just gross. And then read the Conan article as well. Don't focus on the hate. Read the comments actually below, and you'll laugh a little bit, but read the article. For those who are starting out, you'll learn some new things, you know what I mean? What else did I want to talk to you guys about? Another thing. Okay, so this week, I clearly messed up my weeks. I was supposed to have a guest on this week. Sorry, if you hear that little noise, it's my chair. It needs some WD-40. I was supposed to have a guest on this week, but I messed up the weeks. So the guest that I'm having on is actually next week, not this week. So this is another solo episode. But I know last episode I announced that I would have somebody on for this week. But I still got some big guests on the way. And some major announcements coming soon. But yeah, next week we're going to have another guest on, and I'm gonna take the advice of that listener, and I'm going to focus more on, you know, I guess, quote unquote, interviewing the guests and try to promo less for the next episode. You happy? I'm adapting. I'll take your advice. I'll see if I even remember that advice for next week. I might still just promo the hell out of the shit. But yeah, I'm excited for next week's guest. It's a gentleman that I've met. I had met him and his wife. When was it? I think it was last year. I think him and I have been talking on and off since like last year. And he was a vendor at some event at a mall here in the city, actually in the east end of the city. And, we just started talking about, like, it was a comic book event. And he had his own station set up, and he was selling some merch and stuff like that. And him and I just, connected, and we started talking about video games and, God of War especially. And I just got to know him in that moment, and his wife. And I said, you know what, it would be really dope to have him on the show. And we just didn't get a chance to do it last year. And, I was busy. I was figuring things out for the show. But now fast forward to this year. And, he's finally going to be coming on to the show. So I'm going to probably announce him on IG. I'm going to tag him and everything so you guys know who's going to be on next week's show. So follow us at Who How Club to get that information within the next day or two. Also, DM me your email addresses so you could get on our mailing list. I think it's the best way to get the updates and stuff like that for the show, especially for the blog posts. We posted our review for Hobbs and Shaw, so that's out now as well. So go to the blog portion of the whohowclub.com website. Or the Who How Club website. I don't know what the hell I'm saying right now. It's Friday. It's weird. This really helped me, though. I needed this. It's been a rough week, and I needed to talk to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Send me your emails, and I'll add you to the mailing list. We got a huge mailing list already, so it's building. And I'm going to sign off. This was my little 2 cents about the Conan stuff and Andy Richter and haters, admirers. I think that's it. I think I'm going to sign off, and I'll touch base with you guys online, guys and girls, and you'll get some updates from me in a day or two. All right? I want you guys to have a great weekend, a safe weekend. Party, have fun. Just don't get dangerous. Stay away from danger. No fighting, no violence. Just love and peace, and just enjoy your life. Enjoy the weekend and be safe, all right? We'll touch base next week. This is Arys Dejan signing off. Welcome to the club. You are the Who and How Club. I am the Who and How Club. We are the Who and How Club. 1.